Hello everyone, welcome to Monday Morning Must Knows. My name is Merlin Rothfeld, and here are several things to pay attention to for the upcoming trading week. Now before we dive into that, let's just reflect quickly on what happened last week, because it was a doozy of a week and may set the stage for some very interesting action this upcoming trading week. We had a great CPI number last week. We had a fantastic PPI number. You had the Federal Reserve at the FOMC meeting on Wednesday say we're going to halt raises for right now. Although the comments were a little hawkish, they still paused the increases, which is great. You had a great retail sales number, and you had a fantastic TIC long-term purchases number. So all of a sudden, you get like 5 or 6 pieces of data that looked absolutely rosy, and woo, equity markets were soaring last week. Now, the question is, what's going to happen this week? Now, we don't have any monstrous retail data pieces of information coming out, but we do have some very powerful people speaking. That is to his tune of Jerome Powell will be speaking Wednesday and Thursday at a Senate subcommittee meeting. So let's talk about this one real quick. He's going to testify at the semi-annual monetary policy report or give comments on that before the House Financial Services Committee in Washington, D.C. That's Wednesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, why is this so important? Well, Jerome Powell is very good at reading a script, and the first half of Wednesday, or first part of Wednesday, will be Jerome Powell reading a pre-written document that you can go to the Fed site and download that document. All will be fine there. But then it may go off the rails because, as you know, Jerome Powell tends to have some problems when he's asked spontaneous questions. Well, after his pre-written testimony or statements, it's all going to be unscripted, unrehearsed questions. And that could be very, very exciting for our financial markets. So I expect a lot of volatility whenever Jerome is testifying. I would encourage you to actually try to watch this testimony. So if you do see wild swings, you'll know right away, because traders around the world will be watching Jerome Powell's testimony to see what he might say that was outside of the speech statements last week. So really exciting stuff here with Jerome Powell. But wait, there's more. Since he is the chief of the biggest central bank in the world, let's talk more about central banks, because there's some more announcements happening this week from other central banks. Namely, we go across the pond for both of those. We'll start things off with the Swiss National Bank. Now, the Swiss National Bank is way behind the U.S. in their rate increases, so no worry about them stopping at this point. They're only at 1.5. Expectations are that Thursday at 3:30 a.m. Eastern Time, that will jump to 1.75. So a 25 basis point increase expected for the Swiss National Bank. The same thing is expected for the Bank of England. Right now they're at 4.5%. Expectations are they will jump to 4.75% on Thursday at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. So all of these are going to be before the markets open. Bank of England will be closer to the market open, but still before. All right, our final thing here is going to happen on Friday, and this is a whole bunch of different items. It's about services and manufacturing. And given some of the great data that we saw last week, the services manufacturing industry may do rather well. So keep your eye on this data, which comes out for really the globe. We'll start things off across the pond with France at 3:30 a.m. Eastern Time. 15 minutes after that, Germany releases theirs. Then 30 minutes after that, you have the entire EU. Then we move to England, which will be at 4:30 Eastern Time. And finally, the United States at 9:45 Eastern Time will release their services and manufacturing data. Now, I think that this one's important because it'll start to give us an idea, or at least continue on discovering where the strength is in our economies. And not only ours, but also for the Europeans and for the UK. Now, if we can find out where the strengths and weaknesses are within services manufacturing, then we might be able to make longer-term investments based off of that data. This week, really, these services and manufacturing numbers aren't the critical pieces that are going to drive the market, but it may add a little extra comfort to those of you who are bullish. And if the numbers come out really bad, it might even stoke some joy for some of you bears that may be out there right now. So that, my friends, is your Monday Morning Must-Knows. You got a lot to pay attention to the upcoming trading week. Really, it's all about Wednesday and Thursday with Jerome Powell. So I will see you guys next week. Take care.